Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Tamika Russell. I am with the 8 Cycles of Wellness, of course, and you can follow us on the www.8cyclesofwellness.com. I am your personal life coach, and we are talking with Tam. So we are here today with Mario Hill. That is Pastor Mario Hill. Yes. Okay, and he is coming all the way from
Lynchburg, Virginia.
Lynchburg, Virginia. Okay. Now we are trying this again because we did try this before and the video didn't come out too well. So we are going to try this again. Today we are talking about what's the topic? What are we talking about today?
Suffering.
We
Suffering.
are we are talking about suffering. So this is a topic that everyone knows about. I know we have smiles on our faces while we are talking about suffering. But I'll tell you, it's a topic that everyone knows about. It's something that we have to get through with a smile. So, right? We got to
Absolutely.
smile. We got to get through it with a smile because you know
Absolutely.
what? Wearing a frown on your face is not going to change it. So, we might as well walk through with a smile, right?
That's right. We got to go
Got to
through
walk
it
through
anyway.
it.
We might as well
Eh,
smile through it.
Might as well put a smile to it. You got to put something to it. Put a smile to it. That's what works. That's what works.
Yes,
So,
yes.
today we are going to be talking about suffering. So we're going to go briefly go over some of the stuff that we spoke over in the other video, just in case some people didn't get to it. So let's start with the why me question. That's always the big question, you know. And I know, like you said, sometimes you even ask yourself, you know, because when it comes to suffering, you know, when it's somebody else, we're just like, oh, that's so sad, you know,
Yeah.
and we
And
all we sometimes
we
we
gotta
feel
stop
that
saying
way.
that.
Yeah.
We
Well,
gotta stop
sometimes we
doing
feel that, but we're empathetic, so that's okay to be sad for
that.
somebody.
Yeah, but we gotta do better. And the reason why I say that because um it's so normal for us to say that. You know, somebody say they're
Right.
going through something bad or whatever. You're like, oh, I feel so bad for you, and then it's kind of like la 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 la. You know, and it's like,
And how's the
yeah,
weather?
yeah. And how's the weather? Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's like some of us are trying to get away from the conversation so fast. You know what I mean? It's like so the question of like when people ask you how you doing or how's your day? Hey, how
And
you
they don't want to
doing?
know.
And they don't even wait for the answer. I'm like, well, why did you even ask the question?
They don't. They don't. Or when you tell them the answer, they like,
Yeah,
you know, it's kind of like, how you doing? And then you're like, oh, I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. It's like, oh, okay. So maybe.
yeah, yes. So back to me and what I wanted to say. Like, yeah, so yeah.
It's true. It's true. It's
But that's
true.
why. But that is a firm reason why people say, you know, I'm good, I'm okay, because it's like you really don't care anyway. Like
Not asking.
you really don't care, and you're not giving me vibes that say that I care and I'm really interested in what it is that you're going through. So
And
it's like, yeah,
it's
I'm good.
funny.
Yeah,
Right. And it's funny
but
because after COVID, I ask people and I actually wait to see how they're doing, and they don't say anything at all.
they're so used to it, and it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm okay. And then it's so crazy because after, you know, like if somebody found out you went through something, they're like, well, why didn't you tell me? And you're like, really? Like, really? Like, really? You didn't have enough time to wait to hear how my day was going, let alone my problems. I'm okay. That's why I didn't tell everybody. You know, and so,
Wow.
and when I say we got to do better about that, we have to do better because it's a tragedy to find out that people who we are closest to are going through things and going through so much, but we're so busy and we're doing this and doing that. We don't even take the time to know the people in our inner circle that they're
Right.
going through stuff because we're
Right.
so busy and on to the next thing and on to the next thing. We got to
Right.
pause. We got to pause and find out. That's my prayer in this season, Lord. Tune in on my discernment.
Right.
So I don't want to overlook nobody. You know, I don't want to overlook
Oh,
nobody or
okay.
situation or anything like that.
Okay. Okay. That's a good one. Okay, I'm writing that one down. Your inner circle. Pay attention. At least start with your inner circle.
Start with your inner circle.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
At least start with your inner circle. So
Absolutely.
so what would you say to that why me? Like when people are like, you know, why me? Because I know on the last video you mentioned, you know, why not me? You know,
Yeah,
and like you said,
absolutely.
sometimes people should say, like you said, you're not going through it
Yeah, like
But
so. Let me tell you, I had a conversation with the why me,
right,
Lord, why me, why do I got to go through this, and then I start, I got bold in my why me, and I was like, because I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that, and how dare you let something happen to me? And he's
right.
like, he said, so listen, are you done? First of all, you done? Second,
Hmm.
it's not happening to you, it's happening through you. And
Okay.
that thing shut me up all the way. Like,
Okay.
wait, it's not happening to me. I'm like, but it's me. He's like, no, your name might be on it, but it's not happening to you. It's happening through you. You're gonna be a living, walking testimony after
Okay.
it's said and done. You're going to be able to tell somebody else what happened, that you overcome it, and you're going to
Okay.
be able to encourage somebody along the way. And you're
Mm.
going to be better because of it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
you
yeah,
have to learn something.
absolutely. There's a lesson. There's a lesson in everything. We
Hmm.
have to make sure we learn the lesson. If we don't learn the lesson, we're gonna repeat the test. So
Right.
it's like, okay, what was the lesson? And so even when I find myself going through something and it may seem longer than I want it to be,
Okay.
I'm like, Lord, did I miss the lesson? Because I don't want to miss the lesson because it seems like I've been here a long time. What's the lesson? Help me get the lesson, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. And then, like you said, you know what? I think that people always look at their God, whoever their God is. They look at their God like more as a yes man or a genie.
yeah,
Kind of like everything I ask, you must say yes.
yes,
Instead of
absolutely.
looking at the God Almighty as Almighty, and you
Yes,
have more knowledge than me, because even a parent that has more knowledge, or even an older person or a wiser person, think about the wisest person, they're not going to tell
yes,
you yes all the time.
absolutely.
Sometimes your answer is no.
And you know what?
Sometimes
I
your
am.
answer is not now. Sometimes your answer is yes,
That's right.
or sometimes it's like, what, that's not good for you. You might want to eat this, but that's not good for you. You might want to say that, but no, that's not good for you. There are
Absolutely.
some things that are no. You
I
know.
remember I remember thinking back to when I was younger, and then I got into a moment of thanking God for the no's, because I'm like, there
Mm.
was some stuff that I asked for that would have took me out. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't prepared for it mentally,
Oh.
emotionally, and there was some stuff that we just be asking for stuff. Like it's immediate.
Mm.
Lord, give me this, give me that. I want this, I want that. I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and we were talking about,
And you
becoming
will tell
millionaires
him.
and all of that. And so I said, I remember I was in the shower and I was telling the Lord about my bills and stuff. Lord, I got bills and I got this and that. And Lord, I just need you to take care of it. Like, give me $1 million and I'll be good. And the Lord said, you will never be a millionaire.
Oh.
That thing hurt my heart. I was like, what do you
Oh.
mean? What do you mean I won't be a millionaire? He said, you'll
Okay.
never be a millionaire because you can't handle it. He said,
Wow.
but I will put you in a position to be able to speak out of your mouth and have people's bills paid and have things taken care of financially for other people
Oh.
and everything. But you will not be the millionaire. I
Look
said,
at
well, you know what?
there.
I can handle that. I think that'll work. Yeah. Like,
That works. That works.
I don't
Fair
necessarily have to
enough.
have the money. Yeah, I'm good.
Long as I'm not in a desolate situation, like, look, food,
Absolutely.
clothing, and shelter.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm like, okay, I can work with that. Yeah, I can work with
Okay. 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 He trained us with the cheese.
it. Yeah.
That's what the cheese was about.
That's what the cheese is about.
You gotta watch the first video to know about the cheese.
To
But
know
that's
about
what
the
the cheese
cheese.
was about. If you can get through the cheese, you could get through a lot of things. The cheese makes you strong.
And I must say, there is no other cheese like that cheese. Because I've been eating American cheese and I'm like, yo, this ain't it. This ain't it. Yeah.
Listen, either you had it or you didn't, because
Yeah.
they've never made it like that again. Land the
Ever.
Lakes come close, but I don't want to advertise for nobody. But that's some
Yeah.
good cheese. But I don't know. Anyway, and that's not the point of the show. No, but sometime a little setback will make you kind of say, you know what, I can do this. I've done
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
I've done worse.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You may say there was a time where I would have been thankful for this.
We
You
always
know.
we always look at our situation as if it's the worst thing ever. As if this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And we don't take
Right.
time to flash back on what God has brought us out of, because
Come on.
nine times out of ten, you be like, no, that situation was a little bit worse than what I'm dealing with now, and I
Hmm.
survived it, and I survived. Like, yeah, so we have to stop going with the mindset of, woe is me, why is this happening to me, and this is the worst thing ever, because it's not. It's not.
And there's, I mean, not that you want to lighten your situation, but there's always something that could have made your situation worse than what it is.
Worse. Absolutely.
And it's like,
Absolutely.
well, you know what, at least this didn't happen, at least we're all here, or at least, so it's always kind of like you can find a silver lining. If you look
Absolutely.
for it, you can find a silver lining.
When I was thinking about my situation, now, God had to remind me. He's like, but you have a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, you have to be careful with your words and what you say. You
Yeah.
have a place to stay. I did provide that for you. I provided a place for you
Okay.
to stay. You know what I mean? There are some
Okay.
people who are laying on the concrete outside with no room.
Come
So you
on.
have to be careful what you say, and they would give anything to be in your shoes.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like they would give anything. Like I listen. I think of the story where it's like this long drawn out thing, but nevertheless, when you finally get through it, it's like the one who complained about a car ran into the one on the bike, and the one that complained about a bike ran into the one with no legs, and the one with no legs
Right.
ran into the. You understand what I'm saying? So there's always somebody got something worse going on than what you got going on. So you got to be
Mm-hmm.
thankful that what, Lord, it could be worse. Thank you for stopping it at this point
They
before it
talk
got
about an
worse.
intervention. Right, right, right. Somebody intervened. Like
Yes, yes,
that's what we talked about yesterday when we said you have those moments, you have those not me God moments. So
absolutely.
when you're serving God, you get to that point where you're like, okay, you know what, I can go through this, I can go through that, but then I have my moments where it's like, okay, now.
Absolutely. Yeah, like, all
Lord, you
right.
have brought me to the edge. I don't know about this one. Now, that's when you start looking at, that's when anybody, like they say, Allah,
Yeah,
Muhammad,
whoever you want to call
the
on at the
Jewish
moment,
Lord, the Jesus. You start look, if you look to the scientists, you start searching in your book. Well,
yes,
whoever you like, look, I don't, but I could deal with a lot of things.
Jesus,
But
yeah,
this
yeah.
here, right here, I
But
don't know.
this right here,
This right here, I tell you because you like now if you do this now this I don't know about this one, and when you have that moment, it's like life changes, your whole mindset, everything changes,
it
and it could be just
does.
a loss, and you just
It's crazy because, like, so one of my conversations with God, because I'm always talking to him. Like, I'd
yeah,
be like, yeah, like it's a constant. Like, it never, the conversation never ends. It just
yes,
keeps
yes,
carrying on and on and on. And so I
every day.
remember talking to him, and I was like, so listen, you think I'm stronger than I think I am. Like you see something I really don't see because the stuff that be piling on, sir. Yeah, it don't have to be that like that. And so let me tell you, as a pastor, I realized that a lot of things that I preach about, I had to literally walk through it.
Okay,
And
okay,
so
okay.
like before I get to the
Woo.
message on Sunday, 9 times out of 10, there was an experience that took place to lead up to that message. And
Oh.
so sometimes I don't get the message until I get there, until I get to the church. But sometimes if I get the message ahead of time, I'll be like, sir,
Ah!
because
I don't want to talk about that. No, I don't
there's
want
a
to.
requirement that's going to take place to get this out of me. And so when I'm preaching and people be like, oh, the anointing was on you and this and that, I'm like, you don't know the hell that I had to go through
To
to
get
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 to
there.
there to get. And so I listen. I take my hats off to pastors worldwide, to anybody who has to deliver a message worldwide. I salute you because it is not easy. It is not to get up there and just open your mouth and speak. No, you got to go through some stuff before you get
Yes,
there.
yes, yes. Well, we talked about that a little. I know you touched on that in the last one about suffering and relationships. and
Yes.
suffering, like you said, and suffering, and sometimes you feel like you're alone, like you, even as a pastor,
Yeah.
or like you said, even as it really anybody, like you said, when you're suffering, you feel like it's just me. Like you
Yes.
said, your hat goes off to people who feel alone when they're going through stuff, and sometimes that's really the biggest struggle.
It is because you feel like. Let me tell you. So it was a time when I injured myself a couple of years back.
Mm-hmm.
I fell skating. No, not skating, bowling.
Oh,
Yeah, I
mm-hmm.
fell and tore some stuff up. So there was a point to where I felt like I was alone. And when I tell you, so I was in the bed. I was in a wheelchair, and
Oh,
I was
oh,
in the
wow.
bed. Yeah. So for a while, I was in a wheelchair and I had to be pushed around. Thanks be unto
Oh
God because
man, that's the
yeah.
worst. I mean,
And
I
so
never experienced it. I that
oh,
like just
yes, it was. And so it was so, and I only remember that story because I talked to one of my friends this morning, and he was like, "Man, if I had to put you in the wheelchair again, I'd do it again." And I said, "Listen," I
oh,
said,
but see,
"My
that's what
prayer,
made it special. But I still would.
absolutely." But I
I
told him, I said,
still
"My
that's a
prayer
lot.
every day, I prayed for you and your strength because I at one point I had to wheel myself from the kitchen to the living room, and I was like, Lord, this is a lot. Like this is a lot."
Woo. Yeah. Now
But
my head
during that
goes
time,
off to that. Yes.
but during that time, I felt very isolated, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it's so crazy. And I know I wasn't just thinking this. I know it wasn't just a mental thing. I felt
Trapped.
like I had a plague, and people were scared they were going to catch whatever it was that I had. I felt that and I'm
Interesting.
so serious. It was people that treated me like poverty was an illness or contagious that they were going to catch it. Like if they were going to be next to me long enough, they were going to catch brokenness, or if they were with
Really?
me long enough. I was like, why did I process that like that? But it was so true. Like the close circle that I had during that time, it opened up and people kind of drifted and everything, and I was like, but
Really?
but I got hurt. I'm like, but I got like this ain't nothing that I just did to myself or whatever. And I was like, and so God was like, yeah, I needed to do this. Like you needed this. You needed this time
Interesting.
because of what I need to do in your life. I need to isolate you, and then I need to build you up. But before the build up, I had to break all the way down. All the way
Okay.
down. There
And
was a
also
point.
to understand how people feel, like if a handicapped person was to come in and they tell you
Absolutely.
how because it's one thing when people tell you how they feel and you've never been through it. But it's
Yes.
another thing when people tell you how they, like they say, related experience. When somebody's telling you
Absolutely.
how they feel and you've been through it, you like, you lean in a little bit. You be like,
Yes.
look, I
Yes.
know what you're talking. Opposed to when somebody tell you, like, yeah, man, I could really imagine. Like you could imagine, but when you felt it, it's like I know what you go through at night. I
Let me
know what
tell
you
you
go through
this.
when you stop thinking and your brain just start wondering. I know what world you going to. Like that's that difference
Yeah.
in empathy. Wow.
When I remember when people used to, like, I would see Facebook posts of somebody talking about a parent that passed away, and you know what I
Oh,
mean, I miss my mom and all this other stuff and stuff, and so I would give them words of encouragement, but I would be careful not to downgrade what they're going through by saying I understand, because at that point I didn't understand. But it wasn't until I lost my mom that I really understood what it was that they were saying. I didn't get it before. And so I would give them encouragement and I would feel bad for them. But it's a little different now when I see it. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I have those moments. I know what that moment feels like. That moment doesn't feel good. And sometimes you can't snatch yourself out of it as quickly as you would like to. You know what I mean? And it could be anything. Like the other day, there was a scent in the car. We were driving. I was driving with the kids going somewhere, and there was a scent, an aroma filled the car. And I was like, what is that? And they was like, Dad, there's nothing. I was like, it's a smell. I can smell my mom. And they was like,
oh,
what? But whatever it was, there was a gust of it, and I had to pull over, and I was like, listen, it has to get out of here. I can't handle it. But it was just a scent, something as small as a scent. It wasn't even a picture or anything. I thought it was a scent, and I was like, so I get it when people are like, I miss my mom and I miss my dad, and it's like they just left, and because you never get over that. You never get over that. The moments of sadness may come, fewer in between, but you never truly get over that. So my prayer is always this: God help me get through it. because I know I'll never get over it. But when those moments come, strengthen me to be able to get through it, to be able to
Right.
push through. And so I've been, it's still early, it's still fresh. So I think I've been doing okay with my suppressing of things. I know
Yeah.
that's not good. I know that's not good.
No, it's not. It's definitely not good. I don't know what's better to let it out or suppress it or what have you. Because it's to me it's like the worst thing that ever you'll ever have to deal with ever in your life. But yeah, I can't even really talk about my situation too much because it really, I mean, it's a really bad. I never even talked about my father's
Okay.
death or anything. So
Okay.
I'm not even in that place yet because
I got you.
it's very very difficult. Yeah, very very
Yes.
difficult.
Yeah.
But like you said, suffering just goes so many different ways. But when we think about, like you said, just having faith, you know, and being able to, be strong as you can, keep everything in prayer, trying to tell your story, trying to keep your spirits up and different things like that. When it comes to suffering, we have to have balance.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I've learned with suffering. There's a song that says I learned how to suffer, right? And I was like, what? Like I
Mm.
learned how to suffer?
Okay, I
There is
kind of get it.
there's a way to suffer. Like
Okay,
there's a way to suffer so you can get through it. Like there is, and so I never thought it. Like I heard it, and I was like, that don't make sense. I learned how to suffer.
okay,
No, we don't want to suffer. Like we don't want to
right,
suffer. What do you mean? But there's an art to it. Like there's an art to it. There is a skill, which sounds crazy, but there's a
okay.
skill to suffering. Like
So let's talk about that.
when you suffer, when you're going through something, right? The key to it is don't go through murmuring and complaining. Don't go
Right.
through woe is me. Don't go through why me. Don't go through with that. Go through. See, if you don't visualize your coming out, if you don't visualize,
Okay.
if you don't see what you want it to be, it's not going to be because
Right.
you can't see past what you're in. If I could only see what I'm in, that's all I see. There's no hope. There's no promise for tomorrow. There's no
Right.
promise that I'm gonna come out of this, that things are gonna get better. So if you're homeless, right? And I know it sounds crazy, and some people might be like, "Oh, that's kind of insensitive." La 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 la. They're homeless. Why do they want to see that? But if you're homeless and you don't see yourself in the house, you might be homeless even longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't even see it. So if you don't see it, you're not going to strive for it because you don't see it. So you can't see it. But if you see it, so I know in the spiritual world we say, see it until you see it. You know what I mean? See it until you
See
see
it
it.
and
Like you
say
got
it.
to see
Right.
it and say
See
it.
it, say it. Yep. See and
Absolutely,
hear it if you gotta hear it.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
you
But
say
there
it,
has to
hear
be
it.
a vision, and even the Bible tells us, write the vision, make it plain. Write the vision, write it down. Write it down. What you want to see. Lord, this is what I see. I see. Listen, I see it clear. I see a four-bedroom house. I see upper level, down level, lower level because I need four steps to go up. I need four steps to go down. I want the living room right off to the side. I want the
Hold
kitchen
on.
over there in the corner.
Hold on. Hold on. That's
I need
right.
listen. I need the refrigerator to be stainless steel. I want like I see it. I see it. I
I'm
see it.
telling you.
I see the yard. I see the kids chilling out in the backyard on the deck. I see all of that.
Sometimes I see. Let me tell you something. I'll start buying stuff for my new. For if I want,
Okay.
if I'm going if I'm moving or if I'm starting my new business and stuff. I already start buying my paper clips. I start buying my
Okay.
paper. I start getting my supplies. I'm already got my stuff in order, waiting for me to just purchase it for my money to come through.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. Listen, fill that shopping. It don't cost us nothing to fill the shopping cart, right?
Yeah,
We go to
I got my
Amazon. They don't
budget
charge
plan
you.
together. I'm ready. Who? I
They
just
don't.
said, Lord, I'm just waiting on you. That's all. Everything is
That's
in
it.
place.
Listen, all we waiting for is the deposit. Fill that cart, go to Amazon, and that's with anything. Like if you have a desire to say, listen, I want a new wardrobe, right? I want me a new wardrobe. I want to go shopping. Go shopping. Go online. Go shopping. Fill that cart up because now
Hmm.
you're in expectation. Now you're seated in expectation. Now you're like, okay, Lord, I went shopping. I picked out everything I want. All I need now is the finances to do it.
Right.
And he said, okay, well, you took the time. You took the time and did that. Now I'm going to send you the finance. And at that point, all you got to do is hit enter. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
submit. That's
Yeah.
it. Send
Because
it. So,
the hardest thing to come up with is the idea.
yes.
Is
Yes.
the plan and the idea and the whole thing. Because, like you said, I think a lot of people too don't realize that you can come across finances in your life.
You can.
Sometimes a lot of people, if you actually sit down and speak to enough people, they've came across a number of dollars in their life. They've
Yeah.
come across whether it's through different situations or whatever the case is. But if you don't have a plan, it's going to come and it's going to go.
Absolutely.
If you don't have an intention, it's going to come and it's going to go. So it's really not going to have a purpose. So if you don't have a purpose, money will never have a purpose. If you don't
Yes.
have a plan, money will never have a plan. So it will come, but then it'll go. So
Absolutely.
you always have to have something in place so that when anything comes your way, it'll settle down in your purpose and it won't just go. So you
We,
have to be ready.
I think we need to get our mind wrapped around the fact that there are some people whose sole purpose is to sponsor your vision.
That's true too.
God has placed somebody out there, their sole purpose and connection to you is to sponsor your vision. They have the money,
Hmm.
they have the means, they have all of that to do that. And we find that hard to believe, especially when we're not in the position to sow into somebody or sponsor their thing or do their thing, so we don't believe it can happen for us. But I solely believe there was a time, and it's so crazy. And some listen, whatever. Somebody gonna listen to it and be like, no, I don't know if that was the Lord. But I worked this job
Hmm.
and I was good friends with this lady that started working, right? Every single day, this lady took us to lunch. Every day we went to lunch. And after a while, I was like, okay, so we can't keep going to lunch. She didn't want anything. It wasn't no relationship type thing or anything like
Right.
that. She just was like, hey, let's go to lunch. And,
Right.
the first time I was like, so listen, I don't have money for lunch. I'm gonna eat what I bought in here. She was like, no, just go. I just want the company. Just come me to lunch. And
Oh.
she paid. So I was like, okay, cool. And then it became an everyday thing. And I was like, so listen, this is not cool. Like, and so, of course, I returned the favor when I was able to. I was like, no, I got lunch today. And she was like, no, please let me pay. Like, please let me pay.
Okay.
And so God was showing me in that season that there are some people I'm going to send to you that's going to sponsor what it is that you need.
Mm.
And you have to be ready to receive that.
Amen.
You can't block that because you're going to be off balance if you're the one that's giving all the time and you're never receiving.
Well, right, reciprocation, and
Yes,
everything that's alive has to function like that because, like you said, nature flows like
yes,
that, and when you break that cycle, something's going to die.
yes,
Something's
absolutely.
going to give way.
How
It
can a
has to
seed
be a give
give?
and take, and that's with everything.
How can a seed give if it doesn't receive?
Right,
It
right,
has, in order for
and
it to be
that's
able to give the fruit, it has to receive the rain. It has to receive the
exactly,
soil in order to be able to give. So it has to receive to give. So it can't just give. Now we get from the seed and we like, oh man, this fruit is this and this and that. But it had to receive somewhere down the line. And what makes us
exactly.
think we're any different that we don't have to receive in order to give?
Exactly. And it was so funny because I met someone and we were in the store and I talk to everybody. So I'm always like, we're preaching, we're talking about whatever. And so the person said, "No, I'm a good person." They said, "No, I don't," and they was still somebody was talking about lotto and they was like, "No, I don't need the money. I don't need money. I don't need money." And they were saying because I'm a good person. I said, "Well, because you're a good person, you do need money." I said, because if all the money goes to wicked people, none of the good people will ever get it.
That's right.
I said, because they're not going to want to share it with anybody or
That's
do any
right.
good stuff with it.
That's right.
So if you have good intention, and you're really a good person, I said, then you can do the right thing with it. I
Yes.
said, but you always have to be in it. You always have to have a purpose. And that's why it's very important to find out what your purpose is.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't have a purpose, then like you said, when opportunity does knock or when people are willing to give you, they kind of give into an empty vessel.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to fly past you. Because
Absolutely.
you don't have a plan in place.
You don't have
So
it in
you should
place,
always be ready.
and we will squander it away. We will get it, and it will just go as fast as we got it because there's no plan.
and because what you have to, you're going to do your plan. No, your plan is to squander it away. That's your
Yes,
plan. That's your plan. You always
that's the
have a
plan.
plan. That's one
You're
thing
right.
we have to realize. We always have a plan.
Yeah,
But
it might
write
not
down
be the
what
right
your
plan, but
plan
it's a
is.
plan.
Oh, it's a plan. You always have a plan and intention. So if you write down something, that's why they always say write down something in the blanks.
Yes,
Even if you feel it's nothing,
yes.
it's something. Just
It's
write
something.
it down.
Put something in there. That's right. Put something in it. I love
It's
it.
something. Just write it down. Yep.
Oh, I
So
love it. I love
this is great. This is great. This is great.
it.
So the main thing that well what I took away from it so far is that like you said when you through suffering, right? Um see past what you're in. You
Yes,
know, so definitely
absolutely.
see past what you're in when you're suffering. So that's just one of the first gems that we took in there. So
Yeah.
also that like you said, basically don't have that why me
Yeah.
attitude, you know. So a
Yeah.
lot of times now we want to get into the pastor part of you, the pastoral part of you, right? So I just want to, because a lot of people, you know, of course, you know, you even have, like, you know, like you said, you have believers, non-believers. I don't like that word because I'm like, you know, what does that mean? And you know, we're here, you know, there's creation here, you know, which means somebody
Hmm.
created
Yeah.
us. That means because there's creation. So we all must believe that there's a creator because there's creation.
Hmm.
So to some degree, you know, there's belief,
So
you know.
it's so funny
But
that you
whatever the
said
case
that.
is,
Yes, I love
okay.
that.
No, okay. All right. I mean that's another topic,
Yeah.
right? Because that'll go right. Because
Yeah, because we was
listen,
going. We was
I
going.
will get so off topic right now. But okay, so let me not say that. Maybe that's too narrow. That's another topic. Okay, so because that'll cause like a whole nother conversation. But
Yes.
this is the Talking with Tam show, so we can talk about anything, and we'll talk about that maybe another time.
Yes.
But some people are believers in the scriptures, and like I said, I always like to mention that when we talk about the scriptures, you know, we use that as a knowledgeable reference book because it's a book of letters and experiences that people had, and you know, if you want to use it as a reference book for knowledge or theories, or if you want to use another book for references and knowledge and theories, you're free to do so, you know.
Yeah.
But it is an excellent book and it's proven to be, you know, true, you
Yeah.
know, as far as, you know, I always tell people, I said it the earth is round, you know, that's in the Bible. You know, there's so many things scientifically proven that was in the Bible so many years ago, but before
Yeah.
we even, you know, looked at stuff, you know, as far as hygiene, as far as intelligence, as far as science, as far as so many things. But so it's just a great reference book, so we're going to be referring to it just for a moment, just for a moment. But even for believers, believers, so then we're gonna um they when believers suffer, it's kind of like they feel like, oh, am I suffering because I did something wrong? Or do I not have enough faith? You know, or you know, does God not love me? You know, or some, you know, things like that. So it's always comforting for them to know the truth, because sometimes people will believe in the essence of spirituality, not really understanding and taking it on for themselves and not really understanding what it is. And because some people don't really actually, you believe it or not, some people don't even have never even read the whole, like, read the Bible for itself. They're just kind of,
Yeah.
you're a pastor, so you know that some people, believe it or not, some people are in there and they're kind of just listening to your work, and they're not
Yeah.
actually they actually don't go home and read that Bible, so
It's so
they
crazy
don't
because
know.
that it's so crazy that you say that. And when I tell you this is a whole topic, because after I say it, you're gonna say, "Yeah, that is a whole nother show." Yes. So
Yes, yes.
about people just picking apart the Bible and listening to what somebody else says. That's how I got married.
You're the
listening to
somebody
what
else.
listening
So
to what
who?
somebody else said, because I didn't read it for myself and I didn't have the relationship that I have with God now. So I was under a pastor, and at the time he kept telling me, "Hey, you guys are living in sin. You guys are living in sin." And I was like, "Okay, all right, all right." And so he bring it up again. You're living in sin. You're living in sin. So I went and I got married, right? And I came to church and I was like, so
Guilty.
pastor, I got married. And he was like, what did you do that for? And I'm like, you just said I was living in sin. Like, I thought you'd be happy about it. He said, no, I just wanted you to stop living in sin. I didn't say go get married. I said, what? What? Are you serious? But that is,
I was married at 19 because I didn't want to be living in sin.
this is,
I know.
listen, this is why I tell people you got to know God for
You
yourself,
have
have
to
a
know for
relationship,
yourself.
and you got to read that Bible for yourself. Don't just, and I tell them, listen, don't just take my word for it because I said it. You better open that book and reference that and say, listen, okay, I know he said that, but let me go in there and see if it really said in it. Because, oh,
What do you mean by
that thing messed me up. I was like, so wait, so I wasn't supposed to get married. He said, oh man,
that? You're not
I was
supposed to
like,
do anything
oh, and so I was
to
so
love God.
the whole relationship. I'm like, I didn't reference God in the beginning. I didn't seek wise counsel. I didn't ask God, is this what I'm supposed to do? And so for a lot of years, I was like, well, you get what you get because God didn't tell you to do that. So I was like, you get what you get. But I'm not.
Oh, so
I'm
you were punishing yourself.
punishing myself throughout the whole
Okay.
marriage because I was like, I didn't ask God, and so if anything happens,
So in a
bad
sense,
in there,
blaming God because it's like I'm going, and I understand that. I understand that. Like kind of like I did this for you,
yeah,
so and now I'm suffering because I did something
and
to
now,
do.
yeah,
Yeah. So
I
kind of
did
like
it.
yeah, I'm gonna blame you in a sense.
That's us
Like
trying to
look at
fix
how I'm
something.
suffering for you.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
always trying to fix something, right? Fix stuff that we ain't supposed to be fixing, and we want to go fix something, and now it's like, Lord, I fixed it, and He's like, it wasn't broken. You were supposed to.
Eh,
That's the problem. It wasn't broken. You were supposed to break it. You know what I mean? But you didn't break it.
wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. No, no, no. That's the wrong one. Hold on. Hold on. Stop playing. It
Oh
wasn't broken in the
God.
first place.
It wasn't broken in the first place, and you would have you messed it up. You messed it up. You trying to put that together. I didn't tell you to put that together. And then
That's what isn't that with most of the problems with hunger, with
absolutely,
housing, with all the it wasn't
yeah.
broken in the first place.
It wasn't broken in the first place, and then we wanted the Lord to come in and Lord come into this mess. Bless this mess. Bless this
Or
mess that I got.
Lord, why am I hungry? Why am I this? He's like, I don't know, y'all the one not y'all not doing what y'all supposed to be doing. Why you
Yes.
looking at me?
Listen, every time that I go through something, I can remember back to where I wasn't a good steward over somebody. Like I can think back to so if it's a situation to where I'm like we're running out of food, I can think
Mm.
back to well you shouldn't have bought them kids them daggone sneakers. You know what I mean? Or I can think back to well you should have took that trip over there. That
That-
wasn't necessary. You didn't have to go. And so I can always think back. I always have a reference point of I shouldn't have did this or I could have did better with this. And so I don't charge God. I'm like no that was me. I'm
No,
sorry.
and then sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes it's just simply you live in a world that's set up. The system is set up with imperfect people that people who want to do what they want to do. And
Yeah.
so we fall victim to living amongst each other that don't want to follow God's rules. So now I have to follow your rules because you don't want to follow God's rules, and it just turns into be just this whole mess of mess.
I
You
had given
know.
God a promise, and I said, "Listen, Lord, if I'm the only one doing it,
Uh,
I'm gonna do it.
I know that's right.
If I'm the only one, because you know what, I can't risk it. I gotta get in. I got like this. It's not optional. I gotta get to heaven. It is not optional. Hell is too hot. I don't like the heat like that. Yeah, I got no. I gotta get into heaven. Like I gotta get in whatever way. If I slide in on my back,
What you
I got
say?
to get in.
You gonna be in the corner with the Chiquita dog
Yeah,
digging up
listen,
under the dirt. That's
yes,
right.
let me
That's
in here.
right. And
I
just
got to get
slide
in
up
here.
under the
What,
bottom. I'll be right there. I'll
whatever,
be there before you. I know that's
whatever way I get in, I got to get in there. I can't risk nothing else. I got to get in there. I got to get in there.
listen. Ain't nobody going through all of this for nothing.
Not for nothing. To die and go to hell. Wait a minute. I might as well just did what I wanted to do then.
But
You know
look,
the whole time.
Even if hell is just a long sleep without God, I don't want to sleep. I need to be up. I
Yep.
need to be up. I want to see what's going on because I'm nosy
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah, I
Y'all
got to be
already
up.
know I'm nosy.
Listen, I'm banging on the gates. Let me in. Please let me in. Let me in.
God know
Because
I got to see what's going on. I want look. I love fruit too. I want some good fruit. I love being outside. I got to be outside. It's so many things. I got things to
yes,
do.
yes.
I got to see what's going on. I got to see this world in perfection. I want to talk to people. I like talking to people, laughing, having me a good time. I got to do that.
Yes.
I got things to do. No, I got
Mm,
everything planned. Yes,
yes.
got me a barbecue. I ain't got, oh, we gonna get this right. We gotta get it right. Things gotta get better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
People have to come to the term of love because you know what? After what you can't keep running and doing the same thing without realizing, look, this ain't gonna work.
This ain't working.
At
Yes.
some point we're going to realize that we have to get to the natural way of things. You
Absolutely.
know, how many times we going to keep going forward then coming backwards, going forward
Yeah.
then going backwards, going forward then we're going to have to realize that we have to get to the natural way of things. It's the only way things work. It
It is
works.
a cycle.
It
It is a
works.
cycle, and it
You
keeps
can't
going
keep
around. We keep
doing this.
running into the same thing, and we have to make the decision. Okay,
Right.
I'm going to break this cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it takes, I gotta break this cycle. I'm
Right.
by myself now, unlearning things that I learned all
Yes.
my life, and that I
Asian
realized when
stages.
I got older that no, that was wrong. Like that was just wrong. That was wrong. It doesn't make sense. It's not even logical. But we did
Right.
it because our parents did it, and their parents did it, and everybody in the neighborhood did it, and so we thought it was right. And
You
now
better
I'm
stop
like,
showing them.
no, that wasn't right. No, we gotta
Mm-hmm.
stop doing that.
Did you did you watch my ages and stages video?
No.
Oh, I thought you was talking about my ages and I thought you was showing off. I'm about to say, I know that's right. You go ahead. 8cyclesofwellness.com.
Come on,
I'm,
8 seconds of wellness.
I'm promoting on the side too, you know.
You better, you
I
better.
know.
I
Ooh,
love it.
well, let me ask you a question. I'm
Mhm.
gonna re-ask this question, even though I know you answered it already, and it was a wonderful quote. But I'm gonna ask you this question again. But you gotta say
Mhm.
somebody else, of course. If you had to quote
Mhm.
somebody else, one person, one quote, who would it be?
And I gotta pick
Besides,
somebody else now, right? Oh,
yeah, because you
let's go.
said Martin Luther King, Invisible Steps.
Yes. Oh, okay, I can't get
Okay.
Dr. King again. Let me see. I don't know. I might go with my daughter. She said, "Get what you get and don't make it fit." Let me see. I don't.
I love it. No, let's go with it. Say her name.
Zia Mara. Zia
Zia
Mara.
Mara. And which
Yes.
Zia Mara says,
She said, "Get what you get and don't make it fit." I
don't
said,
make
"Oh,
a
okay."
fit. I
I said,
like that.
"Oh,
Now you know what? It sounds like a child saying, but I think that's an adult saying.
it is because it says
Can
don't
we
murmur,
go with
don't
it?
complain. You got what you got. Now, handle it. Work with it. Work with what you got. Make
Can
the
we
best
do
of the
that this
situation.
year?
Yeah, absolutely. This is
Can
your
we do that this
situation.
year?
This is what you got. Ain't no need to sit there crying and complaining about it. Work with it. Work it. Work it. Because we have to realize. Like I
Do you
learned
have a
to accept.
choice?
Do you have a choice? Exactly.
How about that?
Yeah. Do you have a choice? But
How
when
about that?
we choose to murmur, we choose to complain, we choose to gripe, we choose to do all this, and you still got to deal with it anyway. You just wasted all that time.
Could be getting stuff done.
Yes.
Wasting people time and wasting your
Yes.
own time. You know, and then the thing is, I mean, I think this year I think that was perfect. Say her name again. Hold on, hold on for a minute. Wait a minute. I got this. I'm gonna use these things. Great job, Zia. Let's give her a hand clap.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Great
Yes.
job. Great job. Great
Oh,
job. I think we could definitely implement that this year because you
absolutely.
know what? That means we're going to be using our time productively.
Yes.
And we're going to be sending out more positive vibes. We're going to be getting
Absolutely.
rid of a lot of those negative vibes in the air. We're going to be taking away those negative auras, taking away those negative vibes, taking away
Yes.
those bad words, because words, again, we always talk about the words that we use. So let's put those powerful words into play, and
Absolutely.
let's put those strength words into play, and all that good stuff. And do we have any well, we want to get the location again, but
Okay.
Encouragement Center 1.
So Encouragement Center One. We're on all social media: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Everything is the Encouragement Center One. We are
Okay.
located at 2511 Memorial Avenue, Lynchburg, Virginia. Our services are at 11 a.m. on Sundays. We live stream also. And listen, God is going to do some stuff in this encouragement center, and I'm excited about it. The kids are pumped up about it. I'm excited about it. I don't know where I don't. He's always changing stuff, right?
Mhm.
And I think
Mhm.
it's to keep me flexible. I think it's to keep me on my toes. I think it's to keep me to say, okay, I just want to make sure you're gonna stay with it. And follow, and so sometimes it appears that what are they doing over there? Like, oh, it's nothing together. It's not this. It's not that. But people don't understand that I hear from God, and if He say go left, I gotta go left. Like I gotta go left. As much sense as it may not make to anybody else, I have. It's me being obedient to whatever He says,
Amen.
and He can
Amen.
trust that.
Amen.
And so I gotta stay there.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much
Mhm.
for that. Thank you so much for that. And I definitely feel you. I'm like this. I'm like this on that, because I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know I have a purpose, and I go with the flow. I go with the flow.
Absolutely.
The flow says now do Tam talking with
I
Tam. I'm
love it.
sorry.
I love it. I love
You
it.
know, it
And
say
I
do a
believe
website, I do a website. It say do talking with Tam, I do talking with Tam. It says do YouTube, I do YouTube. Whatever the spirit tells me to do, I just get up and do it. I go with the flow as long as it brings praise and honor to Him and it encourages people. Go with it.
it is so crazy because as we're sitting here talking, let me tell you, because my mind sometimes wanders, right? My mind wanders
Okay.
ahead of what it is that we're doing. And so while we're sitting here talking, my mind wandered to the future, right? And seeing you doing this show on a national platform, right? And I came on to talk, and we were talking about remember the first show, right? We was
Okay.
talking about remember the audio on the first show and the this on the first show. Oh, but look at Tam now. I'm so serious. Like so, my mind was there, and I started to get excited. I was like, wait a minute, and I just see it happening so fast because first of all, this is what you love doing, right? You
Okay.
love
Yeah.
being able to so into people, to be able
Yes.
to help people to live their best life, to know to find their self worth, to find the inner them, and not follow other people and be what other people want them to be or expect them to be. You're like, no, you gotta heal yourself, and you gotta be good yourself before you can be good for anybody else. You gotta be
Oh,
good for yourself,
absolutely. I've
first.
learned that. I've learned that over time. Your mom helped me. She was definitely a big part of that. She was a huge part of that, I must say. You know, for me to even mention my dad just makes me feel away. You know, I still sleep on my dad's pillow. I can't get into it because I don't want to shed
Okay,
any tears because I am,
okay, okay.
but
We're gonna say that for another show. We're gonna dedicate a whole
another
show.
show. Maybe, yeah, maybe that show you're talking about. I'll be able to talk about
Yes.
my dad. No, but honestly, I'm gonna tell you. You know, I have been blessed to have the best people in my life.
Okay.
When I say
Okay.
the elite bunch, you
Okay.
know, God has sent the elite bunch to me. You know, I mean, phenomenal, phenomenal. Your mom was phenomenal. She played a huge role in my life. Huge. My dad was phenomenal. He played a huge role in my life. You know, the adults that I met in my life was just where I was lacking,
Okay.
where I was lacking. I can't even say tenfold would be not enough.
Okay.
tenfold will be not enough. When they, and that's why I feel bad for the kids when they don't have a neighborhood and they don't have community and they don't have,
Yes, yes,
and it's not about projects and it's not about this because growing up in the projects, I think that was, I mean, my experience personally, that was like the best thing that could have ever happened to me because we
absolutely.
were so close. They said,
Yeah,
oh, you're bunched up on top of each other, and it's,
that was a good
that's
thing.
what I loved about it. That's what I loved
Absolutely.
about it. My neighbors were like right there. We all
Yeah,
grew up in the same building, and we were just so close. But I tell you, it was a great experience for me, and like I
yeah,
said, the center was a great experience for
yes,
me.
yes.
That's where I learned my etiquette, and that's where I learned, you be a lady, because your mother do not play. I tell everybody the story about when she took us to the ballet, and she was just like, you know what? Make sure y'all wear y'all pocketbooks, and y'all are not going to embarrass us. And this is how you sit, and y'all wear your bags, and this is how you gotta act at the table, and y'all, this is how y'all talk. Don't go in there loud. But she definitely was like, young ladies act like this, and she used to get on the boys, how y'all gotta act as boys and
I
men,
love
and
it.
so she was just the best. But and my dad was the, so, but everything works out for the good.
Absolutely,
Everything works out for the
absolutely.
good. So on that note, I don't want to start rambling.
Yeah. So listen, and I gotta say this part because it's in my spirit to say it. So I gotta say
Okay.
it. And this right here is for the people who are watching. Right. This is for your people who are watching. Do not stay in a situation you were not designed to ever be.
Mm,
Don't stay there. You can get out at any time. You can leave at any time. You can walk away at any time. There's no regrets, no hard feelings, or anything. But do not stay another day in a situation you were never designed to be
mm.
in. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Yes.
Whew. Okay. That was
Okay.
heavy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. So
I love talking with Tam.
so everybody or anybody else that got, if y'all have something to say and it's something good to say and something, that definitely makes sense. Now we ain't just gonna be talking about anything, but I will turn you away. Even though I only have a follower. I'm just kidding. I think I got two.
Come on, T. Come on,
I got
T. Lord, turn that
some
T
my
into
two.
2 million
Me, look,
quickly.
me and you. Me and that's it. No, no, I'm just kidding. I have some. I got
I
turning
love it. I
people
love
away.
it.
No, but no, but anybody, if that you have something really interesting that you want to talk about, please email me. Um, eight. That's the number eight. Like you have encouragement center one. Eight cycles of wellness. Number eight. Eight cycles of wellness.com. No, eight cycles of wellness tr at gmail.com. That's the email. Email me. Let's talk about it. Talk with Tam. All right. See you guys soon and have a blessed one. And thank you so much, Pastor Mario Hill,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
coming
I'm
on the
excited
show.
talking
All
with
right.
Tam. Yes. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Good night,
Bye.
everybody.